Knowing the past helps you succeed in the present. Hi, this is Radha Srinivas, and I'm here to discuss part 3 of French Revolution. In the last session, we discussed that 1791 Constitution limited the powers of monarch, distributed powers into 3 different organs known as legislative, executive, and judiciary, and confined voting rights to active citizens. So today in this session, we are going to discuss the topic, France abolishes monarchy and becomes a republic. Though Louis XVI reluctantly accepted the terms laid by National Assembly, somewhere and somehow he wanted to restore his powers. So he entered secret negotiations with neighboring countries such as Persia and Austria. Persia, present known as Germany. So these two countries, Persia and Austria, had their self-interest in helping Louis XVI. They were afraid that the same situation may take place in their country too. So they decided to help Louis XVI so that they can stop the revolutionary ideas entering into their countries. But in the month of April 1792, National Assembly declared war against Austria and Persia. Thousands of men thronged and enrolled their names in army. They have won the war against Persia and Austria. Here we can see that a patriotic song which encourages the sense of responsibility and which stimulates to do something for the nation. So such patriotic song has come up during the French Revolution, and it was Marseillaise, which was sung by the volunteers of Marseille. And later it was adopted as a national anthem of France, and it was composed by Roger de Lisle. 1791 Constitution did not give right to vote for the less prosperous people. So they wanted to continue the revolution till they attain the political equality in France. And then you can see the number of political clubs emerged in France. And one such club was Jacobin Club, which gave way to establish republic in France. So the members of Jacobin Club were from the less prosperous section of society, like a shoemaker or artisans and workers. And the leader of Jacobin Club was Maximilien Robespierre. Let us see that how Jacobins established republic in France. So on 21st September 1792. So Jacobins came to be known as a sans-culottes, literally means those without knee breeches. So knee breeches was worn by nobles, whereabout the Jacobins were called as a sans-culottes, who wore a long striped trousers with a red cap. So this Jacobins, led by Jacobins, number of Parisians who were angered because of high prices and short supply of food. So they attacked Palace of Tuileries, where they massacred, slaughtered the guards of king and held king as hostage. You might be thinking that how could they find Louis XVI in Tuileries? So on October 6th, 1789, angered women forced Louis XVI and his family to come to Paris. They brought them to Paris and put them under surveillance in Palace of Tuileries. So this assembly suspended King Louis XVI and abolished monarchy. They held election where they have given a voting power to the men of 21 years of age and above, the right to vote, irrespective of their social background. And the newly elected assembly was known as Convention. End of Louis XVI. Louis XVI was executed publicly on the charge of treason, being disloyal to his own country. Even Marie Antoinette met with same fate later. So after the death of Louis XVI, revolutionary leader came up in France, Maximilien Robespierre. His period is known as Reign of Terror from 1793 to 1794, as he followed severe control and punishment, a policy of severe control and punishment. He picked up enemies of republic. They were arrested, imprisoned, sent to a revolutionary tribunal, and if they found guilty, they were guillotined. Guillotine is a device which consists of two poles and a blade with which they beheaded a person. It was invented by Dr. Guillotine. Laws introduced by Robespierre government, ceiling on wages and prices. So prices were fixed by the government. So no one can exceed or increase the prices. If they do so, they were guillotined. Meat and a bread was rationed. A fixed quantity was given to each family. Peasants were forced to transport their grains to the cities, and they should sell it at prices fixed by the government. Expensive wheat flour was forbidden. That is, a maida was forbidden. And he compelled everybody to go with equality bread, de-egalite, which is made of whole of wheat. Even he followed the practice of equality in speech, in the form of speech. He asked everyone to call as citoyen or citoyenne. Churches were shut down and the buildings were used as barracks and offices. So his stringent policies, because of his stringent policies, he became unpopular and his own supporters went against him. And he was guillotined in the year 1794. End of a tyrannical ruler. And now a directory rule. A new constitution was introduced in France, which denied the voting power to the non-propertied citizens, a section of society. Again, the prosperous people seized the government. Elections were held and two legislative councils were formed. And these two legislative councils in turn elected executive members, executive body, which consists of 5 members. As they experience the tyranny under the Robespierre government, so they wanted to rest the power in few hands, that is not in one hand. But the executive and legislative always clashed. So legislative sought to dismiss directors. So there was a vacuum in France, and that vacuum was covered entering of Napoleon Bonaparte. So Napoleon Bonaparte, a military dictator, declared himself as Emperor of France in 1804. We can see that different forms of government came up in France. So the first one was monarchy, so where kings ruled. End of monarchy, that is a constitutional monarchy, where monarchy powers were limited, that is a constitutional monarchy. Republic, abolition of monarchy and established republic. Republic in the sense where the head and the government is elected by the government, by the people. Directory rule. So they don't wanted it as they experience the tyrannical ruler. So they don't want to rest the power in one hand. Instead, they have given to executive members a set of 5 members, but they did not continue. They did not go for it. So end of a directory rule also, and that came upon with the dictator Napoleon Bonaparte. Now here are the few 1-mark questions. When did France abolish the monarchy and became republic? Who were sans-culottes? What was Marseillaise? Who was the leader of Jacobin club? Thank you and have a great day.